How are you? This is Oliver Fernandez with The Imperfect Entrepreneur. And today I want to walk through the top 3 things that were holding me back when I first started my business. And when I did start my business, that continued to kind of pop up that I had to address for me to really start growing and scaling to the next level. So this weekend was a special weekend because we had a birthday party, and one of our really close friends bought a property with my wife Leah, and we went to their. It wasn't a housewarming, but it was like a get together with just our family and their family, and it was really cool because they wanted to make us dinner. And we had an amazing dinner there. But they also have a dog, and our daughter Liliana is afraid of dogs. So she was petrified when she first walked in, but by the end of the evening, the dog was licking her hand, licking her face, and she was really enjoying it. So when I first think about when I first started my business, the things that were holding me back, and I was coming from a good place with this one thing. Growing up, my family struggled. And what I mean by it struggled is I grew up with my mom and my 3 sisters. And my mom was a teacher. She was making $25,000. And my dad was down in Boston, and he had a construction company, and he was an entrepreneur, and he had resources. But it was always this weird dynamic between my family. So it was like, we would get resources for some things, but wouldn't get resources for other things. And it was like, I hated it. And then that's one of the reasons why I wanted to become successful, so that we could just get out from underneath that control that he had over our family. And as I started to like get a little bit of traction in business, my first thought was like, I gotta help people. And it was coming from such a good place, because I really did want to help people. I wanted to help people because I just remembered how much pain I was going through when I was living at home with my mom and 3 sisters, and things were difficult, and there was a lot of struggle, and there was so much resistance, and I wanted to give people an opportunity to see what entrepreneurship was like, what business was like. And it was such a good thing that my heart was trying to do, but it was trying to do it too early. And what I mean by that is that you can't help people, or you can help people, right? But it's for me, it's like at a smaller scale. Like, you can help people if you don't have any resources, right? Like, you can go and you can donate your time, you can donate the whatever resources you do have, but there's a limit to that, right? And the limit was really small for me, because all my time was already getting devoted to the business. And then the resources that I did have were also being devoted to the business. So I didn't really have any time or money to divert, but my heart was pulling me in that direction to like mentor somebody and like get, give back and all this stuff. And it was like, Oliver, slow down. Get yourself off the ground. Focus on what you're trying to do. And then once you get off the ground, now you can go back and donate. You can now donate over 6 figures. Now you can set a target to donate over $1 million. Like, all of those things, take time, and you're not going to get it if you're just totally focused on the donation part, especially if you don't have the resources. So I had to focus on getting the resources first, and then I could donate. And this was really hard for me, even like with my family, not getting so involved in every one of their decisions and trying to help them, make the best decision. And like, it was just like, all of a sudden here I had this circle of my time, and now all of a sudden half of my time was going to try to help this and do that. And like, I just needed to focus on Oliver. And then honestly, once I focused on Oliver and started getting results for Oliver, that's when they actually started listening, so that I could even go back and even help them, right? So a great example of that was investing in investments, right? So when my mom passed away, when we were just like graduating from school and stuff, and I was 22 years old, we didn't have any resources. We didn't have anything going on, And so it wasn't, I couldn't, they were looking at me like, hey, here's Oliver telling me all this stuff. Why doesn't he go do it? Okay. So then I went out and did it, and I started like getting into real estate, doing some bigger things. And now all of a sudden my family started seeing the results. Like, Oliver's got me. Hey, I want some of that, Hey, Oliver, what do you, and then now I'm like, okay, well, come to this event. They would have never come to that event if I brought that up to them when I didn't have any research, but they came to that event because I did have the research, I did have the results in my life, and they were interested now. They wanted to like kind of get a peek behind the curtain and see what I was really doing. And then they went to that event, and then they made their first investment in a real estate from an investment standpoint, and that investment, doubled up for them. So they were willing to listen to me once I had the results, once I was able to, almost show them what was possible. Versus, in my mind, I already knew what was possible, but they didn't see it. So I had to be able to show them what was possible. And once I showed them, the resistance was minuscule. Their belief was way higher in what was possible because they've already seen it for me. So that emotion of trying to help everybody in the very beginning held me back, because I should have been focusing all my time and energy on getting the business off the ground, focusing on getting everything rolling, focused on me, doing everything I needed to do, instead of trying to give everything back in the beginning. And now I have the resources to give back. We've donated over 6 figures to an awesome organization here in DC that provides after-school activities for our youth. And I'm so excited to be able to set that target of $1 million of donation, because I want to have a bigger impact. I'm excited about having a bigger impact. So the second thing that holds you back, and I've done a lot of trainings, and they're always telling you, if you don't understand a word, look up the word. If you don't understand the word, look up the word. I'm like, okay, yeah, does that really matter if you don't understand the word, to just kind of read it and just kind of keep moving forward? And I was just reading a Wall Street Journal article about the war in Ukraine, and they were talking about like this piece of artillery equipment that was being hit by like these drones. And I was, I read it, but it didn't really resonate with me because I didn't really know what it was. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to look up this piece of equipment. So I copied and pasted that piece of equipment name, and I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, wow, that makes total sense to me. Now I can see what a drone was going and running into. And the same thing works for words. So this word guilt, I looked it up, and I was like, wow, that word guilt has held me back for so long. It's like when you start to become successful, like you feel, I don't know, I felt guilty about having more resources than the people around me. And I was like, I'm putting in all the work. I'm building the team. I'm getting the projects, and I still feel guilty about all the resources that I'm starting to, and the things we're starting to do, when in reality, I shouldn't have felt guilty. I was doing the right things. I'm investing in the right things. Why am I feeling guilty? Well, until you understand what that word is, you can't address the problem. And the addressing the problem is, I just need to feel more confident in the work that I'm doing, that the work that I'm doing is going to continue to produce results, and that I can show the people around me how to create those results, but it's not my fault if they don't do the work. And having that understanding of that word guilt was a game changer for me. I used to feel guilty about, just everything from having more than the people around me. Even from a work environment, it's like I was feeling guilty that I remember this one project, right? And these were all firm fixed price contracts. And what I mean by that is, like, if I have a contract for $1 million and I spend $1.2 million to get that work done, that's on me. But the cool thing about it is if I have $1 million in it and I was able to complete the job for $800,000, then we get to keep the delta. Well, I was so guilty as an entrepreneur that I was breaking apart my bid and saying like, hey, you know, we didn't use this specific thing. Like there was a crane lift, and I was saying I'll credit it back to the government. Like, they don't care if I had to have 5 crane lifts and I only ended my proposal 2, they wouldn't care. And they'd be like, hey dude, that's not my fault. They wouldn't be looking to, you know, give me additional money. So like that motion of guilt like controlled that entire transaction. I'm like, oh my God, looking back, I'm like, that thing was, if I didn't remove that feeling of guilt from my life, like that thing would have really put the business in a really tough situation. Even from like a family standpoint, when that feeling of guilt, like I remember when my daughter was crying and when we first had her, and then this is obviously the first couple months you gotta they don't have ability to regulate, but after like 8-9 months, you could just say she's starting to play games, like she wants to, she knows that when she cries, mommy and daddy are gonna come get her. So it's like in the middle of the night and I'm like, babe, we gotta get some sleep. This is ridiculous. She's just playing games with us. She's crying. I'm like, babe, just let her cry. If she cries for more than 30 minutes, then we'll go get her. At 25 minutes, she stops crying. But that was the longest 25 minutes for both me and my wife, because our guilt was like, oh, we gotta go get her. That thing like was pulling us all over the place, but it was like, no, we gotta set the parameters, or we're gonna just get run ragged with this thing. That feeling of guilt, and this third emotion is something that is like it's so sneaky too. It's like a sneaky emotion. It's this emotion of praise, right? So. All I ever wanted to do was I wanted to create a $10 million business. I wanted to, build an, oh, Jesus. Ooh, that was crazy. Someone almost sideswiped me. So I wanted to build this $10 million business, and I wanted to, provide, be able to provide for my family, create like a nice environment for my family, and be able to have the resources to continue to grow and learn and train and all that stuff. And then it's like, oh my God, you go and hit that thing. And then it's like, people are telling you, oh, Oliver, you made it. And all of a sudden that goes to your head. You start thinking like, I'm good. I'm satisfied. Like I made it. And that's such a sneaky thing, because it makes you forget what you're really trying to do. And it's like, the reason why I'm trying to create success is because I want to take care of my family. Okay. So like, now once your family's taken care of, are you good? Like, or are you going to try to help other people and show other people the way? And it was like, once that trigger went on in my head, it's like, forget all that praise. I don't care about the praise. Like, I don't even care about, the success. It's just like showing up, continuing to put in the energy and effort to continue to grow and scale, and like increase your responsibility for more people. So like in the beginning, it was just trying to take care of me, and then it was taking care of my family. And it's like, now what other organizations can we become a part of to help them take care of themselves? Like that inner city, that youth program, the after school youth program that we're involved in. We're also involved in a women's shelter. Like all of those things that increase my responsibility, instead of being so excited about this praise. Like, okay, like, you created a $10 million business. Okay, pat on the back. Well, that's cool. That's cool to people who haven't created a $10 million business, but like, that's not really cool to someone who's created a $100 million business. So if you're really a big dog, oh, let's go. It's like putting it on the perspective. So like, it's now just taking off all the praise, and it's like continue to put the best foot forward and continue to, increase the responsibility for the people that we're serving, and like the people we're serving, our customers, we want to provide quality construction so that they can go out there and hit their personal, professional, and financial goals, and building a high performance team to go and do it together, and like now I can show other team members how to come in come into this organization, produce results so that you too can go out and hit your personal, professional, and financial goals. And it's not going to happen by just coming in the organization and just thinking you can chill. It's going to happen by coming in the organization and producing results that are going to transform the organization so that the organization now has the resources to help you hit your personal, professional, financial goals. So those three emotions held me back in business. It was almost like, they were like these little sneaky things, you know. It was like that first one was I wanted to just help. My heart was in such a good spot, and I stopped. We were so much resistance and struggle growing up that I wanted to help people before I became successful. And the furniture in my head was a little backwards. And once I got it straightened out, I was like, okay, I got to create the results. And then once I get the results, I can now help more people. And that was a great understanding. Number two was get rid of that emotion of guilt that holds you back. It's like an anchor. It's like literally a weight on your shoe. It's like it doesn't allow you to elevate and continue to elevate and elevate. It holds you back because you feel bad and this and that. It's like literally driving your car in reverse, but you want to go forward. And then that third emotion is that praise. Like, don't get addicted to the praise. Get addicted to the process. Because when I got addicted to the praise, I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel inspired. I almost like lost my mojo. Now I'm addicted to the process and I'm like ready to roll every day. It's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Why? Because it's here, it's present, and I'm excited about it, you know? And it's like, let's go out there and see what we can create. Let's go set this target of $100 million and let's give it everything we got to go hit it. And then once we get close to that 100 million, then we're gonna set the $1 billion target. But we gotta get that $100 million first, so that the people in our environment and me myself, I have the confidence to go get that Billy. So with that, go out there and build the rest of your legacy. Let's roll.